Hey, everybody, this is your old pal, Andrew Fiore from the Defend Your Movie podcast. Me and Sean just wanted to remind you guys at the beginning, please go to iTunes, rate, subscribe, and leave a comment. Leave a 5-star review, would you please? It helps grow the podcast so much, and we really have big things for 2019. So if you could do us a favor, Defenders, get out there and get online and help us out, and follow us at Defend Your Movie on Twitter and Instagram, and email us anything. We'd love to hear from you, the Defenders, at defendyourmovie@gmail.com. So we got a great episode for you this week. Thank you for listening. Talk to you guys later.
In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victorious. So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut along and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. I am one of your hosts, Sean Donnelly, joined by my very cheery, blondish, dirty blondish.
It's Chestnut with Auburn highlights. Man,
Right off the
it came
bat!
real early.
Holy cow. Andy Fiore, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Shawnee.
The man, the myth. How tall are you, by the way? Are you
6'3".
6'3". You're a big boy.
I'm a big goon.
You're a big goon. See, you think of it that way, but I'm like, I wish I was 6'3".
Yeah,
I love
the
it.
height is
You
not
love the height.
the issue with me.
What's
It's
your
the width?
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'll tell you really quickly. I didn't even bring this up before the show. I was walking over here. I think I'm just embracing becoming an older man. Like, there's two things that make me realize I'm becoming older. Like, I'm 40. I'm not even that
Yeah.
old. But one of the things, I get excited. The other day, I had to go like 19th and 3rd to meet up with somebody. And from my house in Long Island City, I made it there in under 20 minutes because I took the G to the L and I caught them back to back.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's many things that make me happier than that. Like, I don't really.
Good time.
Oh my god, dude! I really don't. I get out that thing. I'm like, are you kidding me? I just saved myself like 30. Like,
Good time has been something bred into me since I was a little
Me
kid.
too, for my
Going
dad.
down, summer vacations,
oh yeah.
we got down the shore and we made good time.
Yes,
we made
exactly.
real good time.
And with traffic was the devil. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So same kind of family, like that kind of thing. So when I did that, I was like, are you kidding? Like I felt like I accomplished something.
Oh, yeah.
When all I really did was just zip, zip, zip. Got on the train.
But that's such a good feeling too, because you're normally waiting around, and especially in this minus Siberian temperatures.
Well, this was the other day, so it wasn't as bad. It was
All
actually,
right,
but it was still cold
middle
out.
of January.
Exactly. And the other thing was, on the way here, right to the studio, I heard these like teenagers. They were like, you never know if teenagers in the city are like, or in teenagers anyway, if they're joking with each other or if they're actually fighting. When it
Right,
seems like it's
yeah.
getting serious, you have to kind of wait and look and be like, oh, because if it gets really serious, I would jump in.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking just now. I saw it. I thought it was getting serious, but then I thought to myself, what would I say? And my first inclination to my real first thought was I'd walk over and go, hey, be nice. Be nice. Be nice. How fast
That's
would I get
not
punched in
bad.
the face? No, what? Are you kidding me? That's terrible.
What?
How
Like,
fast?
Good thinking. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd probably get. It would one of those things where the person they were beating, they'd all turn on you,
Yes.
and then they'd unite.
Yeah, it'd become stepbrothers.
Yeah,
I'd just get my ass kicked. So I just thought, I'm like, man, I'm really getting old. Like, I guess that maybe I don't think I've always been this lame, but I think I'm getting lamer as I get older.
Yeah, I agree, and I think part of it is that you also don't care about it anymore. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care about being cool anymore. I
Right.
just go, this is who I am. Some girl's going to eventually love me for that.
Yes.
I don't give a shit about trying to be cool anymore.
Yes.
I don't change my wardrobe. I try and look nice, and I try and,
Right.
keep a good appearance.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, it's not first on my
You're
list.
pulling it off. You look fantastic.
But-
you're a catch because you're a tall guy.
Oh, thanks.
Still have hair.
Yeah. If I slim down, it really, oh, God.
But here's the thing: you wear it well,
Thanks.
and people tell me the same
But I'm
thing.
wearing
They're like,
too much of it. Well,
Me too.
This is the
I'm
thing.
wearing too much of it right now too. I think I'm going to jump back into the old Jimmy Pie.
Yeah. As soon as the old back heals,
Did
Gymboree
you
time.
Did you watch a couple things this week?
I watched 2 films. I went to one and I saw one at home.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, I went to one as well that I didn't talk about yet.
I just forget the feeling. I hadn't gone in a while because I've, again, gotten old and a little lazier, and I just kind of wait for the movies to come out. Everybody has a nice TV now. I have a great 60-inch TV.
Yeah.
I turn the lights off in my house. I'm so happy just to watch a movie there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
But so
I do love the act of going.
That
to
was
the
my
movies.
point the other
I love
day.
it.
I had time to kill before my spots. I went to like a 6:30 p.m. film. I got the popcorn. I got to do the butter my way.
great.
I got my water, and I just watched previews. And
Doesn't
I
it-
just
doesn't it
loved.
make you calm?
You know what? And I think I kind of prefer going to the movies alone. I love going with my friends, but I like going alone
think
too.
I like going with my friends too, but I do love it.
I don't have to worry, especially in New York City. Going to the movies can cause a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of things
Especially
that you
with
can't
art.
control that's going on in a New York City movie theater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially with art. Yeah, because I've had times with friends where they're like, "Oh, I'm running late," and it's like 50 minutes later. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that shot."
Save me
but-
a seat. Like the pressure?
Yeah, the
Come
pressure
on.
of saving a seat is like insane. It's another Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Take it. It's
Yeah,
taken.
pretty good.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is, I'll go by myself. I love going midday. I'll go midday. The other night I went in between. I was out for I had something in the afternoon. So around dinner time, which I learned from my dad is the best time to go because nobody goes to the movies in the suburbs. Nobody goes to the movies during dinner time. I used to go to the movies during dinner time all the time to be empty.
Yeah, it's good thinking.
My dad would do anything he could to avoid crowds. He just didn't like people. But it kind of rubbed off. But I went to go see you. You do yours first. 'Cause I'll tell you after.
I went to go see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Now our friend Greg, the fucking shit stirrer.
This is immediately who I thought of the entire time.
Everybody loves this thing. What is your verdict?
I thought it was fine.
Okay, yeah. See, that's the thing. These get so fucking hyped up.
Greg's also an idiot.
He's not the only one to say it though. People
All right,
love this thing.
The two people I thought of, him and Evan Williams, another comic friend of ours, who both love that world. So,
Yes.
Two very positive guys.
I love Marvel as well, but I'm like realistic about it.
Okay, exactly. So I liked it. It was so hyped up for me. Me and Greg drove to Levity Live. I think the day after he saw it, he couldn't stop. He goes, "Dude, I cried. It's the greatest movie I've ever seen," which I've heard him say about 50 movies.
Yeah, he just loves everything.
Yeah.
And you can be like, "Hey, Greg, here's an instructional video on how to tie your shoes."
Right.
It was a roller coaster.
It was fine. I love animated stuff. I love animated cartoons and that are kind of for adults, like Simpsons and Family and all that.
Even
stuff.
in the theater,
in the theater was.
I love the Pixar stuff.
Yeah, and I thought it was great, but I didn't love it like these guys did.
Like, was there a take? The thing about
It
also,
got a little crazy. It was almost annoying to the point where it was just like,
Now, did you have the vibe when you're watching it? This is for kids, or was it?
yeah, a little bit,
Really?
a little bit.
See, what is everybody talking about then? Because at least with the Pixar's, you walk in, it's for adults as well, and also for kids. Like, it rides that line
Yeah,
really
it
well.
does, but I feel like it sways one more toward kids a little more. It had some clever stuff in there that I think would go over a kid's head.
Yeah.
But and then you're just kind of like, haha, I got that. That's fun. And but it is a kids movie, But it was great. I loved the actors in it. I thought did an amazing job. They all played
Mulaney's
their
in it.
roles really good.
My
Mulaney
favorite
was great. Jake Johnson, who's really cool. He's from The New Girl.
Yeah.
You'd probably recognize his voice.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
the actors really played their roles really good. That was my favorite part about it. But it followed a very outside of the multi-universe. It followed a very formulaic, like.
See, I thought it was going to turn the genre on its head a little bit.
No.
Because it's called, what's it called again?
Spider into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, so
It's about multiverses, and Kingpin, the plot, the character Kingpin, the bad guy, figures out a way where he can create the super collider to bring back his dead wife and child. And because of the power of the super collider, it has multiverses, multi-universes colliding with each other and getting all scrambled, which can't happen.
And they all show up in one universe.
All the different Spider-Mans from the different universes are all find themselves in one spot.
Oh, that's
and they've
kinda-
got to figure it out because they'll die if they don't all get back to their universe.
That's really actually cool.
It's a pretty cool idea. It gets kind of complicated. You're just like, what? But I don't know. I liked it. I'm not saying it was bad,
Yeah.
but it was fine.
I
I could have
gotta watch
waited.
it.
But
And now it makes me want. You just describing the plot makes me want to see it more.
it was great. Yeah.
But I will say this: does it start a side universe for these Marvel animated movies now? Is it through
I'm
the
sure it could.
Is it Marvel Studios?
Yes, and it absolutely could. They all could have their own individual movies.
It did so well. They're following it up. with
Absolutely.
Something else.
You'd be silly not to with the way it's set up and there could be sequels to this one.
There could be
do
standalones
another,
for all the different Spider-Mans. Wow.
I mean, this was a beautiful jumping off point for many, many sequels, prequels. You could do anything with this thing.
Well,
once you start breaking the rules of multiverses and stuff like that, you can really go anywhere you want. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Well, that's why this is why Cloverfield will still live on, but the fact that they're using multiverses, that's their answer to Cloverfield.
Exactly.
Which I did not realize was the case.
Right.
Which is why I think that it just ruins the whole. That actually ruins that. This will probably help the animated side of those things.
Yeah.
But the Cloverfield thing, if you watch the latest one, the third one that was on Netflix, it just kind of you're like, oh, that's a dumb explanation for what I thought was going to be a really, really cool story.
But very enjoyable. I highly recommend it. I had a good time alone. That was the movie I enjoyed this week.
And what was the movie you didn't enjoy?
Halloween 2018.
So didn't enjoy it all.
Nah. I enjoyed a few parts of it.
Written by Danny McBride.
Written by Danny McBride and two other guys.
Directed by, you remember?
No, but it was a Blumhouse production.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which the last two Blumhouse things I've seen haven't loved. Which was, we talked about it last week, was Cam. Which
yeah,
and by the way,
that's supposed to be trashy though.
Yeah, it's very trashy. And thank you to Andrew Morgan. He had me on his podcast this week. We'll give him a little plug.
Oh, nice.
We talked about Cam.
What's his podcast called?
Netflix Original Movie Podcast. So
nice.
Yeah, very cool guy. He's sweet. He met me in my hotel room in Hartford, and we just hung out and taltalked Netflix stuff.
Oh, so listen to that podcast. It's
Absolutely,
called
Andrew
Netflix.
Morgan.
What's the name of the podcast?
Netflix Original. Hold on.
Is that what it's called?
I think it's like the Nomcast or something.
Oh, Nom. Oh, it's called Nom. NOM, a Netflix Original Movie Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have the official title if you give me 1 second. But I watched, I was bored last night. I got home from comedy and felt like a movie night in the cold, damp New York City weather. I said, you know what? I haven't seen the new version of Halloween. We did our live show based on the original versus Psycho.
Yes.
So I wanted to give it a whirl. And just like the original, which I'm not a huge fan of because it's not that scary to me, this one also wasn't that scary. And I didn't think it was that good. I almost thought it was kind of garbage.
Well, it didn't do that well.
It had better kills. It had more graphic kills, which I liked.
And it's in HD.
It was good.
But also, it was a little bit tongue in cheek with the original. Wasn't.
Yeah, it was really.
And if you weren't a huge fan of the original, you're not going to be.
I like the original. It's just like
original.
it's kind of a bore. It just drags out, and you're just once you see it, you're like, all right, I don't need to see that again.
Yeah.
Because the original times, Mike Myers comes out and you go, oh, there he is. He's following around all day. I see him behind the tree. I see him behind the clothesline. That's scary the first time you see it.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack is great, and John Carpenter's great. But after that, you don't need to see it again. It's not one of those horror movies like The Shining where you can watch over and over again, even though you know where the jumpy parts are coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though it's like the suspense is kind of taken away once you see a movie originally, I can still watch again. Halloween is not that kind of movie for me. And this, I just thought it was so kind of also thrown all together.
You're living in a time where it's literally been parodied by Scream.
Yeah, it almost became a parody of itself with all the remakes.
That's what I mean. And they did a bunch of sequels to it, so you have all that extra baggage that comes with it.
Yeah.
And then
I wanted it to be good, man.
And the time it came out originally, people are kind of so they like worship these things that came out back then, but the reason being is because there was nothing like it. So the things that should be happening now are things that, like how Hereditary, people go freaking out about Hereditary. Yeah, that makes sense now.
Quiet Place was a cool new kind of invention.
Exactly, things like
which
that.
I watched again the other day and liked it just as much.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. I still haven't watched it.
It's great.
But what I mean is if you have that stuff now, it leaves the original type of Halloween in the dust.
Yeah.
Because it's doing new creative things with horror filmmaking.
I know.
And I don't know much about horror. I don't watch a lot of horror, but I can only imagine, Halloween, it should be, it's almost like the vaudeville of...
I feel like you would watch this with no problem.
Oh, I would absolutely. I just didn't watch it because people weren't that into it.
Had a few good spooks moments where you're just like, ah! Which I like, but other than that, it was kind of campy and cheesy.
It was not great, yeah.
There's a weird storyline between the mother, Jamie Lee, and then her daughter, and then her granddaughter. And then, not to be controversial, but towards the end, I just felt it was just like, it was just kind of like women are strong and we can do. It was just kind of like forced that message where I was like, come on,
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with that, but don't be so obvious about it.
And also, the original already had that message in it.
Yeah. They call
yeah.
back the original a lot, and it's just very.
'Cause it's
I don't know why
basically-
so many people enjoyed it.
It was done basically as with like the other ones didn't happen, right? So it was
Yeah.
basically the first one happened and then this,
Exactly.
and that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm fine with not seeing it for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was on, maybe I.
It was a fine purchase at home.
Well, I'll tell you the two that I watched.
Please.
In the theaters, I went to go see Bumblebee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not usually into. I don't watch Transformers
Yeah.
movies, but whenever they switch things up with these types of things, okay, I wasn't a big fan of X-Men movies, but then I watched Logan because it looked
Same
so
here.
great, and I love Logan. So then I'm like,
Exact
okay.
same.
So then as far as this went, I went, oh, I'm not into like the Shia LaBeouf ones or the Marky Mark ones of Transformers, but they kind of took it back to simple means, and they had this thing, and it was kind of I think it's a prequel for Bumblebee the Transformer. I don't know the story.
I don't know anything
I think
about
it's
it.
but so same kind of thing. It was a girl power. John Cena's in it, and he's pretty funny, and he plays the military guy.
Yeah.
And but it was like it was straight up for kids, and I didn't 100% realize it would be that much for kids. But the weird part is the wink to adults was supposed to be. It's in the 80s. It takes place in the 80s. The wink to adults was all the 80s references that are in it, and I'm like, that's been done to fucking death.
I know.
Like there's a way to do that subtly. Like, it always reminds me, and I bring this up all the time, not all the time, but it always reminds me of when that 70s show was big, right? Which is a great show, funny show, didn't beat you over the head with any references, really. Maybe a little bit here and there.
Yeah, I mean,
That was so popular, they came out with this thing called that 80s show.
I remember.
And just the commercial, I was like, get me away from this thing. The commercial was like, the guy on the commercial was like, I'm on a cellular phone.
Yeah.
And it was like the worst thing in the world. This kind of reminded me of that, where she was like, you don't like the Smiths, huh? What about that? Like everything was like, oh, look how cool you're referring to cool 80s shit.
It's called a what? Compact disc?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. Exactly, yeah. So that's how I felt, and so I watched it, and it was good, but it was very to the numbers, and they'll probably have another one that takes place before all the other Transformers movies, like another prequel or a sequel to the prequel. So it was fine, like it wasn't bad. The girl in it's pretty good, but I wasn't blown away. And then, so I watched that. Then the other thing I watched, which I didn't catch the whole thing, but I watched pretty much the last 3/4 of it. Wow. The new, we might have talked about this before in the podcast, the new Independence Day.
Haven't seen it. I don't think we
Dude.
talked about it.
We don't even bother. Like, I watched it.
Heard that.
It is garbage. It is such to the point
How
where
did they fuck that up? I mean,
they made it so big. Like, they made
Goldblum in it?
What? Yeah, he's in it. Goldblum's in it, and then he ends up in space at one point to deal with these things. To deal with what's going on. So the spaceship that comes in is bigger. Then at the end, so then when you think it's done, at the end, the giant, I think it's the Queen, or like there's some big battle alien that they have to deal with that is like 400 feet tall. That battles them and almost kills Bill Pullman's daughter, and like it's just, but it's the whole thing's so bad. It's not good.
all right. Wow. Not a great week for movies we watched.
If they would have gone, they went kind of by the numbers for the first one, but they could have made it like it wasn't as. I don't know. It should have been maybe a little bit more nostalgic for this one, like maybe a little bit with more of a throwback or more like.
Could have had the Will Smith's kid. Maybe he could
did.
have.
He is.
See, these things write themselves.
Yeah. You can just write it. Yeah, he's one of the pilots.
Okay,
as
yeah.
well as the president's daughter.
Right.
And then the president is like a crazy person for a while because you remember
2018 power couple. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then he cleans himself up, and then he gets in the plane and he helps out the
course,
shit
yeah.
like that. So don't even. It's not. It's just.
I love the original.
You're
so
watching
much.
it, and then you know what you're doing. You know what gets you bored? It's when they have scenes that are on the ship or inside the inside the voyage of the ship, like so it's underneath the ship, and they have that blue tint to the screen. I don't know. I just check out when I see that in movies now. It's
Yeah.
like the blue tint. It's the in the space lighting scheme, or we're on the alien ship now
Yeah.
lighting scheme. You know, like I'm just like, there's so many movies that have that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they have on top of it, they have what's his name? William Fichtner is in it, and he plays. I don't even know who he plays. I was half paying attention when watching it, but he was the guy who was the he was in Armageddon as well as one of the was he in Armageddon? Oh wait, I'm thinking of.
Call us in.
All right, let us know. Whatever. I'm going off on a tangent. All I'm saying is it's a terrible sequel. But one thing is they set it up that there's going to be a sequel, or maybe not now because I think
boy.
it did poorly. But they set it up like you thought the sequel was going to start right then and there. That's
Yeah.
That's how set up it was for a sequel. So expect to see another one of these. They could make them so cool. They should realize smaller's better. Make these things smaller. People react to smaller shit. Look at Logan.
Keep it
Logan
simple.
did fantastic. And now
Yep.
there's going to be probably a whole new batch of X-Men movies from Marvel based off the end of the Logan ones, I'm guessing. And it was so well done and so well written. That's what people like. If certain things get too big for a while, it has to be
Yeah.
smaller, you know? So whatever. So that's what I watched.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, you know, I
All
just
right.
it's one of those, the hard part about doing these action movies, that's why I bow down to Marvel all the time. And I know I do this on the podcast.
Marvel's hit or miss, though, for me, though.
It's everything they
hits
do
than
is at
misses,
least.
but-
But think of it this way, dude. Think of it this way. Everything that Marvel does is better than all the stuff we talk about action-wise. ID, the sequel I just told you about. Think about any other action movie that really comes out. What else? I'm
Yeah.
sure there's other shit that's good, but they're literally in the same universe, and they're making these really competent, really well done, entertaining movies that have different endings. And I'll spoil a couple right now. What I'm thinking of is also Doctor Strange. I watched Doctor Strange as well again for another I guess it was the third time I watched it. Great ending. Manipulating the whole time structure thing. That's
Yeah.
you know, hey, I'm gonna the bad guy. I'm gonna trap you in this time loop if you don't let me go. That's not a big battle scene. That's not a big fight scene. That's just him being like, I outsmarted
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So cool. How the Avengers ended as a dark ending.
Yeah.
None of the other ones have it like that. Now, granted, a lot of standalones, but God, you really have to hand it to Marvel for really nailing it for the most part.
Yeah, I didn't love Infinity War though. It did have a cool dark ending, but it just made you. I get mad at movies that do this sometimes. You go, are you just gonna make me wait for the next one with that ending?
But you knew it going into it.
I didn't. I'm.
What do you mean you didn't know?
I didn't know.
But it was going to be.
I
It
don't
was going to
pay
be
attention
one
to that.
big movie, and they broke it down to two. It was like that was all the news about it.
There's not gonna be a third on that one.
There's going to be Avengers for the.
Yeah.
No, there's going to be another. Not
Oh,
Infinity.
yeah.
It's going to be called. I forget what it's going to be called, but there's going to be another one coming out this year.
All right.
But they filmed
need
them all
closure.
back to back. But what I'm saying is, think about that's 20 some odd movies or whatever it is, 18
dude.
movies in the same universe using the same characters, and you're still like, I want to see this.
You want to know something I did recently? Stan Lee just recently died. Oh, that was a very, almost got me in the theater. You know how Stan Lee just has kind of an appearance in a cameo in all these movies?
Yeah.
So, not to spoil too much, but the main kid in the Spider-Verse that we concentrate on in the movie is realizing that he's now has Spidey powers. And so he goes and gets a Spider-Man costume. He buys one in a store. And the original Spider-Man has died in this in this universe. It's not really ruining it because it's right in the beginning. So it's Stan Lee goes it's right
is his voice
after
in
he
it?
dies. It's his voice, and he just goes I'm really gonna miss that guy. And you just go, cry! I almost cried right then and there,
shit.
you know. So that was a nice scene. It was very touching, and R.I.P. Stan Lee. But
Yeah, that's always a bummer.
Yeah.
It's when stuff hits you pretty hard.
I know.
And when you don't expect it and it comes out of nowhere, like,
Yeah.
like a punch in the face. All right, let's get into the meat and the potatoes part of the podcast. Greg Stone.
The M's and the P's.
Should we have a thing? If you come to one of our live shows, and you bring a side of beef,
Yeah.
we'll cook it up for you. I don't even know.
We should start calling this the Greg Stone segment. Let's get to the Gregs and the Stones of the
Gregs
podcast.
and the Stones of the podcast.
If you bring us a stone, we'll sign it.
If you bring us a stone, we'll throw it at Greg's head.
Perfect. This is a huge one.
This is a biggie. This is a really biggie.
Something we've been talking about for a little while.
We've been talking about doing this for a while. I know these movies. We both know these movies very fucking well, and it's kind of a little different take on it. What's going to happen is both of us don't know. Do you have an idea of which one you would
I
take?
don't know. This is why we can't defend either. I can defend both of these till the day I die.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
not against each other.
That's why I want to put them up against each other.
So we
to
decided
see what we come up with.
Maybe we'll talk it out, and then maybe we'll come up with something at the end.
Yeah.
But this one we'll put out there, obviously, to the defenders, and we really would love your input on Twitter and email us, because this one, I'm so eager to hear what other people think about it.
Yes, email us, defendyourmovie@gmail.com, @defendyourmovie on Twitter. Let us know what you think about this matchup. It's a biggie. It is Reservoir Dogs versus
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. And I think a lot of people over the years, like, as you know, film fans, I think there's probably some people that think you can't match these up because they're both Tarantino, and because one was done earlier than the other one, and it was like one was his like first one, and I don't know if there's like a thought process that way, but a lot of people are like, which one do you like better? I remember that.
I have a small
getting
take
that
on
question
what
a
you
lot.
just said right there.
Okay.
I think more film fans appreciate Reservoir Dogs more, and I think the greater populace likes Pulp Fiction more. Pulp Fiction, obviously, the more popular film in terms of notoriety, or just and you walk by somebody on the street and go, yeah, I know Pulp Fiction. They might not know Reservoir Dogs as well.
They won't know it as well,
You know what I
and they
mean?
won't know that it was influenced by a lot of stuff. It was influenced by a lot of Japanese film.
And I'll be honest, Pulp Fiction led me to Reservoir Dogs. I got to Pulp Fiction first, and then found, so
you know what's
personally-
crazy? I saw Reservoir Dogs first.
Wow.
My dad, who passed away a long time ago, whatever. Not whatever, but you know what I'm saying. My dad was also a huge movie guy. I was going to movies all the time. My dad and he loved. My dad did love like independent movies. He liked Australian movies. Like, he loved movies. He saw Reservoir Dogs in the theaters.
Wow.
In the theaters, and he goes, "This guy is amazing. He's coming out with another movie. We're gonna go. I'm taking you to go
Dad
see
called
it."
Quentin Tarantino.
He called Quentin Tarantino
Wow.
back in, I guess,
92
92.
was
92
Reservoir
Reservoir
Dogs.
Dogs. So, 92. I'm 14, and he's like,
Damn.
"This guy is great." And then I remember renting Reservoir Dogs and bringing it to my friend John's house, and we watched it there.
Yeah, I remember where I watched it too.
Yeah, and I loved it, because it's like, especially when you're 14, it's badass. The whole thing is badass. So, but I remember my dad. There's a whole. I don't know if I ever told this story on the podcast. When Pulp Fiction finally came out, I was only, I think, 16 or something.
Yeah, I was in 8th grade, 94.
And that's a heavy movie.
I snuck in.
And there's the GIMP scene, all that. And
Yeah.
I remember in Newsday, in Parade magazine, they had an article about it, and they mentioned the GIMP scene. And I kind of knew what they were talking about with the S&M stuff, but I didn't. I remember being on the way to the theater with my dad and getting, like, nervous. Like, butterflies in my stomach.
right.
Like, I have to watch this with my dad. And he had no idea that scene was in there. Like, he knew probably it'd be violent, but he took me to, like, Lethal Weapon 2 when I was, like, 10. Like, he didn't care. Like, I saw Patsy Kenton's boobs when I was, like, 12, and it was the best day of my life. But, like, so he didn't really care about what or not, I guess, if I was with him, but he really didn't think about that kind of. And also, it was a different time. And
No,
I didn't. I'm fine too. I didn't grow up a maniac or anything,
Right.
But Pulp Fiction with the whole, there's a lot of gore and stuff. Not gore, but a lot of fucking heavy shit in
It's
it.
super graphic. It's super language. It's got my mom language.
Language.
No, it's very bloody. It's violent. It's got a heavy drug use.
Yeah.
Overdoses with
Well, Pulp Fiction has that scene with her.
That's
where,
what I was talking about. Mostly Pulp Fiction.
yeah.
OD.
Reservoir Dogs has none, but yeah. Does it have drug use? No, I don't think any.
No.
But Pulp Fiction has that scene with her where he drives the needle into her heart.
Yeah.
You know that was shot in
Adrenaline.
reverse?
Really?
Yes, that was a little tidbit.
I had no idea.
They put it in there, and then they had him pull it out, and then since she shot up and she went berserk.
Fuck out of my way. Pig. Quit fucking around and give her the shot. Come on. Okay. Look, while I'm doing this, you take off her shirt and find her heart.
Find her heart.
Be exact.
You think you can find my heart?
Never 3 times?
Heart, so I guess it's got to be fucking exact. I don't know exactly where her heart
No.
is. I mean, I think it's right here.
That's it.
This it? All right. What I need is a big fat magic marker.
A felt fucking pen.
A magic marker. A felt Come on, man, hurry up.
This makes you realize Travolta is such a good actor.
Yeah.
I think it's ready.
What happened?
All right, please hurry up, man.
So he's drawing a little circle on her chest.
You're gonna stab her 3 times?
You're gonna
No.
give it a shot. You're gonna give it a shot. I ain't giving her the shot. I never done this before. I ain't never done it before either, all right? I ain't starting now. Look, you brought her here, and that means that you're gonna give her the shot. The day that I bring an OD and bitch to your house, then I give her the shot. Give her the shot.
Fair argument.
Yes.
Give me that.
I would say
Give me
an
that.
age-old
Tell me
argument.
what to do. Okay, you're giving her an injection of adrenaline straight to her heart, but she's got a breastplate. You gotta pierce through that. So what you gotta do is you gotta bring the needle down in a stabbing motion. I gotta stab her 3 times. No, you don't gotta fucking stab her 3 times. You gotta stab her once, but it's gotta be hard enough to get through her breastplate into her heart. All right, and then once you do that, you press down the plunger. Okay, then what happens? I'm curious about that myself. This ain't no fucking joke, man. I'm not gonna kill her. I mean, no, she's supposed to come out of it like that. It's. All right, count to 3. All right, ready? 1.
So these are great shots right here.
They're great close-ups right here. They're like Scorsese-style close-ups right here, where they shoot. Remember, they have
The drop
The drop
of the-
comes
yeah.
off the syringe, and then
3.
yeah, that's good. Think about
All right. And say something.
Something.
Oh, that clever Tarantino screenwriting.
Ba-dum-bum. You can turn it off.
That's good.
Think about this. Like, you wonder what the. You always wonder what. I wonder what the climate is like on these sets. Like, you wonder, when you have like a method set or you have something like this.
Yeah.
You think they're really getting themselves like. That's when acting really is such an art form, because the only way to pull something like that off is if you're like believing. Because think about it this way. Even when Eric Stoltz of 80s, Some Kind of Wonderful Fame goes, if I bring an OD and bitch to your place, I'll stab her, okay? Like, he even pulls out that line really well for the character. Like, he's supposed to be a wormy little
he's great.
drug dealer, but like, think about it this way. It's like, you don't think of him saying that, like, nobody says that. You're right. Like, nobody says that in real
He's
life.
a great, perfect heroin drug dealer.
Yeah, that logic.
That's Choco.
White Panda.
Yeah, that's the madman.
Yeah. It's just really, really great and well done. So like, but yeah. So when he goes 3 and you're like that, he already has in there. He pulls it out. So I guess it makes it look. I guess they did that. They shot it in reverse, so it looks like he's really stabbing her.
Wow.
Because think about it. How else are you going to do it?
I had no idea.
He can't.
I just thought they
actually. I guess they could have done it with prosthetics, but
yeah.
I think it looks because I think he's pulling it out of the prosthetic, so it makes it look even scary.
Very
scary.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Good.
So, yeah, Pulp Fiction is way. I would say they're both pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Well, as far as like blood goes, like there you have seen a lot of blood in that scene. You have.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of but then like I said, there's the Gimp scene is like, God damn, that whole sequence.
I mean, well, yeah, if he shot Marvin in the face, it's bloody. The whole car is bloody.
God,
I mean,
yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a very bloody movie.
He shot. Oh,
I think it actually might
he's
be
like,
more
oh shit,
bloodier than
he
Reservoir
shot Marvin
Dogs.
in the face. Yeah, you got that.
You ever seen that show Cops? I was watching it one time, and there was this cop on. He was talking about this gunfight he had in the hallway with this guy, right? And he just unloaded on this guy, and nothing happened. He didn't hit nothing. Okay, it was just him and this guy. I mean, it's freaky, but it happens.
Look, you want to play blind man, go walk with the shepherd. But me, my eyes are wide fucking open.
What the fuck does that mean?
I mean, that's it for me. From here on in, you consider my ass retired.
Jesus Christ.
Don't blaspheme.
God damn it,
I said don't do that.
Hey, you're fucking freaking out on us.
Look, I'm telling Marcellus today.
On us.
I'm through.
You're just
Why
freaking out
don't
on
you
us.
tell him at the same time why?
Don't worry, I will.
Yeah, and I bet you $10,000 he laughs his ass off.
I don't give a damn if he does.
Marvin,
Man, I don't even
what do
know.
you make all
He goes,
this?
I don't even have an opinion.
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Oh, you're bad.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped you?
What's happening? Oh, shit, man.
Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face.
That's good.
Accident.
That's good.
Oh,
That's
man, I
good.
see some crazy ass shit in my town.
That's the
but this-
brute. That's
Chill out, man.
that's
I
good,
thought you
buddy.
was an ass. You probably-
Alex.
You went over a bump or
Hey, the
something.
car ain't
That's so funny. Because it's also like how nonchalant they are.
I know.
Even the whole like cleanup scene is fantastic.
Oh, the wolf, so good.
So good. The wolf scene, he's like, Jimmy, he goes, what does he say? He goes, you like, he goes, what is he,
I don't know what you're trying to reference.
when he's talking about the betting.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, are you an Oak man? I'm an Oak man myself.
Oak's nice.
Oak's nice. Oak's nice should be the name of every episode of this fucking podcast. So what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, they both have gore. But which one? Do you think Reservoir Dogs because it has more street cred? Like what? Like it's one of those things where also a lot of movie nerds I think go after it because it rips off a lot of these Japanese.
Yeah, it's got the Mexican standoff at the end. But I love the technique that Tarantino uses during the famous ear scene. That he just kind of pans the camera to the left. And
Yeah.
You just let the viewer make up their own minds on how that goes, and then it pans back. It's such a great technique to just
your
how
imagination.
crazy Mr. Blonde is. You know?
Also, a lot of movies do stuff like that, and your imagination will make it way worse than it actually is. Like especially if it's like, that's also a way to save some cash. Like how much money he saved on like an ear cutting off prosthesis and all that kind of stuff. That's a great one too. Where he comes up to us. Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy?
Bark all day, little doggy?
Or are you gonna bite? I'm sorry. What's that? What'd you say? He's a fucking madman.
Yeah.
He goes-
Dude.
what does he say when Harvey Keitel? He's pointing the gun. He's like, "Psycho!" When they call him a psycho. When they're all
Keitel is great. Keitel is so good. It's kind of his movie if you think about it.
It is
in
kind of
ways.
his movie.
You kind of think it's maybe Tim Roth's movie for a little bit, but then it's really those two kind of pair up and almost become friends, and to the point of Harvey Keitel telling him his first name, which is strictly against the rules.
Yes.
Which is great undercover work, I guess, because he got him to, and which is
That's
and then Buscemi has such a great. He's like, now he knows your first name, he knows where you're from. If you've done any time in any, he's like,
you guys are acting like, what does he say? He goes,
He's
first
like-
year fucking thieves. I'm acting like a fucking professional.
I see the Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, but Reservoir Dogs still has stuff I say. I think I said it to you last week. Where were we? I was like, "Where's the commode in this dungeon? I got to take a squirt." And then I was like, "Reservoir." You're like, "Yeah, I know."
Also, the great scene, the opening. Is it the opening scene when they're in the car and he's talking to him in the back and he's all shot? Isn't it also amazing how you find out how Tim Roth got shot in the back of that car?
Yeah,
You think
yeah,
it's during the robbery,
yeah,
and you
I know.
find out it's just some lady in the
I never
thing?
really thought about that before.
Yeah. It's just it's kind of a lame way why he got shot, but the way that Harvey Keitel brings it up, he's like, "Hey, we were in battle together, and he got shot." It's like, no,
Yeah.
just some lady shot him with her lady gun, and right in the gut.
You're not gonna die.
No, that's the best part. He goes, "You're gonna be okay."
He
Say
sings
the
it.
fucking goddamn words. You're gonna be okay. Do you have that one? When in the car?
Joe, I don't know what you know, but this is a good kid. Harvey Keitel's very hard to do.
It's you kind of had it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Give me in. Kill me, man. You fucking got that. Hey. Cancel that shit. Right now.
Cancel that shit.
You're
What a
real
great.
fucking bad.
Quentin
But
he
you ain't
can write a
dying.
turn of phrase.
I was scared the shit out of me, Larry. I'm gonna die, I know it. Oh, excuse me, I didn't realize you had a degree in medicine.
I like how he makes him laugh a little
you a
bit.
doctor?
As he
Are you a doctor?
kind of makes him laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
Answer me, please. Are you a doctor? Huh?
Nah.
Okay. So you admit you don't know what you're talking about. So, if you're through giving me your amateur opinion, slide back and listen to the news. I'm taking you back to the rendezvous. Joe's gonna get you a doctor. The doctor's gonna fix you up. And you're gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay.
Now say it. You're gonna be okay. Say it. You're gonna be okay. Say the goddamn word. You're gonna be okay. Oh, God. Say the goddamn
fucking words.
Say it. Oh, okay, Larry. Correct. Correct.
That's good. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, that's a brutal scene to watch because he's literally slipping around
Yeah.
in the white back of a car. So I think we go. I think over the years, what I used to think was, also my dad of all people, like back in the day, he said Tarantino will never top Pulp Fiction. When he saw it, my dad was blown away by Pulp Fiction.
While we were listening to that, I was thinking about how much I love Tarantino and the movies he makes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because those movies are just
They're
a certain style and a certain
high
way
class,
about them.
but they're
that I
fun as
love.
well. you
Yeah.
know?
And I just always look forward to the stuff he does. Like, I loved Hateful Eight.
And I'll tell you right now, it's almost like I never thought of it this way till just now. But it depends on what you want to do. When a director comes into his own style, do you like right before it when they didn't get caught up and all that, or do you like their are you because you can equate him to Wes Anderson, and the way you can do that is
Yes.
Reservoir Dogs is his Bottle Rocket.
Right.
Because before, when you don't have the means to have your own universe or your own campiness or your Pulp Fiction or
Yes, you
your
created
where
your
it's-
own.
You created your own. You're living with somebody else's the logistics of the world.
Yeah.
And money's an issue. So that's when you create more real world based. But they're both real world based. All of the shit is real world based. But like Tarantino,
Yeah,
he gets the writing is where he kind of takes off into his own world.
he can really has a unique style. It's just a cool way. Like, I would never think to say during that scene if somebody was saying stuff I didn't want to just be like, cancel that shit. I would never. Like,
Yeah.
He always has this turn of phrase or
It
something.
was just great. It was also
really
great at a
his own
monologue. Great at a
style.
monologue. He wrote True Romance as one of the
Kevin
best.
Smith kind of was like that a little bit with his writing, but then it kind of got too broad,
Yeah,
and
but-
it's like distinctly Tarantino.
But it was never at the level of what this is, and never at the and also consistency of what this is. And even if you just take these two movies, the amount of quotable stuff, and as far as even if you get the tipping monologue is fantastic.
Fantastic.
I don't know if you want to play the tipping monologue. I don't know what we can say about it, but like
Dick.
how many dicks is that? A lot. But he just puts it right into the middle of the. Like, if you watch when Kevin Smith was making his early movies, they look like amateur movies. They do. Clerks looks like a student film. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah.
People loved it because of the
I'm
writing.
not comparing them, man.
Right. But I'm just saying people loved it
They
because
were both, it was just that good time frame for independent movie makers like that. Both 94, Clerks, and Pulp Fiction.
Exactly.
They were just like, it's a cool era, which is why I think people sleep on the 90s as one of the great decades in film.
Well, that's one of the points that can go in the Pulp Fiction column. Pulp Fiction changed how people made independent movies and how they made movies in general. It also brought independent movies into the forefront of moviegoers, of like mass moviegoers, I would say.
I never saw a movie like that before. I obviously have now, where the timelines were all off, but connected.
Yeah.
It blew me away as a 14, 15-year-old. I was like, that's
me too.
fucking genius. That's what I want to do.
And the older you get, you realize how simple of an idea it is, because we're going to take a novel and just make the movie like it's the novel.
You know, you see these guys die, and then you see them
come back
an hour later in the movie in a scene. When I first watched it, I go, that's just fucking great. I love that.
Yeah. And also what it does, and I don't know if this is for everybody, but what it does is it kind of makes you realize it's a movie. Like, especially Pulp Fiction, exactly what you're talking about. And it's funny because another story about my dad is he worked with a guy once, and they both saw Pulp Fiction, and my dad was like, wasn't it great? He goes, yeah, but how did John Travolta come back to life at the end? And he was like, what? So, what it does is it makes you realize, like, it's like you're reading a book where you're like, oh yeah, like this is characters. It makes you realize it's a character.
Yeah.
Or you watch him, he shows up at the end and you go, oh, I missed him.
I wonder if somebody could probably find this on YouTube of it spliced together in chronological order. I bet that'd be interesting to see. Just as the story unfolds, somebody had to have done it.
Somebody must have done it.
You know?
I would love to see that. But let's do this as far as matching it up goes, because I do want to play the last audio clip I want to play is the Mexican standoff. But cast wise, what would you?
It's hard to. Well, Pulp Fiction is a bigger cast, so it's hard to stack up against.
Bigger names.
I love,
and Hollywood wise, it came into play after he made Reservoir Dogs.
And it's a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
I mean, Harvey Keitel is fantastic in Reservoir. I will go through Reservoir Dogs first. Harvey Keitel, Steve Buscemi, Michael Madsen. I used to know Joe's name, but Chris Penn,
Lawrence Tierney.
Thank you. are all top of their game. It's just so everybody plays their part perfectly. I'm forgetting. I don't know Mr. Purple's name. You see very little of him.
Which one? Oh, with the mustache?
Yeah.
Eddie something. Eddie Bunker? Or
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like
I might
that,
even
yeah.
have his color wrong.
Yeah, he was in it for like 5 minutes. Yeah.
But it's just such a. Oh man, I'm just thinking of like the scenes where they kind of flash back to where Harvey Keitel sees Joe for the first time. It's just kind of like Bama. Oh, I haven't seen Bama in a few years.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
little thief.
But
it's
also-
just like conversation that has no real effect on the plot, but it's
great.
It's breathtaking dialogue.
And he uses the name Alabama again in True Romance. Her name's Alabama.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And also, you got
Good little thief.
Madsen, when he brings in Michael Madsen to talk to him.
Yep.
That's it's Vega,
Vincent Vega.
They're
Yeah,
supposed to
that's
be
true.
brothers. They were gonna do. I think we might have mentioned this. They were gonna do a Vic Vega, Vincent Vega movie
Wow, I
about the
never-
brothers,
huh.
but they got too old and they couldn't do it
That's phenomenal.
gonna be a
I never
prequel
knew
to
that.
all this
I never
stuff.
knew that.
because they both die in their respective movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Lawrence Tierney's. He does this thing with his hands when he goes, "What do you want to drink? How about Remy Martin?" And he does this thing with his hands. I will say that to my friend Steve Brown. I'll go, "What do you want to drink?" He'll go, "How about Remy Martin?"
Also, Lawrence Tierney is a maniac apparently because he was
Long
in.
gone.
He
He
was in-
died. I don't think.
Oh, he
too
died.
long. He died. He had a great part. Some part in The Simpsons.
He had a great part in Seinfeld too.
Yeah,
He
great
plays
part in
Elaine's
Seinfeld.
dad.
Yes.
He goes,
Mr. Bennett.
"You're not wearing that jacket outside with my daughter." But he also,
Drivel.
if you listen to like the commentary on the Reservoir Dogs DVD, I forget who is Michael Penn, Chris Penn, who passed away as well. He tells a story about Lawrence Tierney. Right before they started filming and they knew what the cast was, Chris Penn was like, "Hey guys, come over to my house for a barbecue. We're just gonna chill and we can talk and get to know each other." Everybody comes. Lawrence Tierney comes. Just being weird the whole time, roaming around him and his wife's house, literally, I think trying to steal a knife at one point, wouldn't leave. Everybody else left at like, normal time, maybe like 8 p.m. It's like a daytime thing. This guy almost stays over. And then finally, I guess Chris was like, "We'll give you a ride home." He's like, "All right, that works." But just being a fucking mental patient.
Oh God.
But
He'd clunk our heads together like Mo.
but he's so badass, he's such a badass. But what I wanted to do is, as far as cast goes, think about how strong that cast is. They're just good, great acting. So it's like one of those things where it's like, when you get popular, is there a quality that's lost? And I don't think so. With these two movies, it's not, because Pulp Fiction has the same respect that Reservoir Dogs does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're like, "Oh, I got too Hollywood and he fucked up." He just did the same thing with just the higher name actors. He kind of brought them down to the level of like,
I don't know if they were
Cool.
higher named actors. If you were that
Bruce
brought
Willis?
Travolta back though.
it brought it back. It did.
Travolta
Bruce
was not
Willis-
working, or he was making garbage.
But Bruce Willis was pretty big. at
Yeah,
that
Bruce
point.
Willis was huge, but the rest of the cast, I wouldn't say is that.
They're not that huge.
Like,
I think
at the
Rames was
time,
pretty big,
Crazy
character
Alias-
actor wise, I
I'll be
guess.
damned.
I think he was in Mission Impossible by then, right? Or maybe not.
Yeah,
95. Yeah, because that first one would have been
Absolutely,
made
yeah.
around the same time.
but Uma Thurman was kind of a discovery at that point.
Yeah, that's true. That made her big, I think.
Marvin was played by Phil
Yeah, she
Lamar.
probably did Beautiful Girls at the same time. She had a good year, a couple of years that year.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
Marvin was played by Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar of Mad
Mad
TV fame.
and many cartoon voiceover roles.
Yeah. And then also remember the guy who comes out and tries to shoot them? That's Alexis Arquette. That's Patricia Arquette.
Yes,
and David Arquette's
absolutely,
brother,
100%.
who goes by a different name.
I think he still goes by Alexis.
I don't know if they're trans, if he's trans or a drag queen.
Oh, I don't know, but either.
But he's also the trans person in Wedding Singer.
Yeah,
Give me time.
Samuel L. Jackson had been working for years, but this also shot him
It
into the
made him
stratosphere.
famous, I think. Yeah,
The whole
because he's in
Ezekiel-
Goodfellas. He just did all these big movies.
Yeah.
Because what year was Die Hard with a Vengeance? It might have been.
Die Hard with a Vengeance was 95, I think.
Yeah, this was 94, right?
Yeah,
94. Okay, so that was right after. Yeah, so this made him like
Zeus.
And then he just did every movie.
My favorite
after
Die
that.
Hard.
Die Hard. That's a good
With
Die
Vengeance.
Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good Die Hard. I would probably match up the first one against it.
Yeah, I like Vengeance better.
But when it comes to cast, all right, just personal preference. Which one would you think you like better?
I think I like Reservoir Dogs better because of the Buscemi, Keitel,
Yeah.
Tim Roth relationships that
Yeah,
they all
yeah.
form. Because it becomes those three, even though Tim Roth has passed out at the time. Then you kind of see Buscemi and Keitel kind of do their thing. And then as they all kind of, it's just so, I love it so much.
Yeah.
I think I'm leaning a little toward Reservoir Dogs. This is why we did
As
it.
we
This
go,
is why
I
we
know.
fleshed it out.
Yeah, I think you're right. To me, I'd probably go Reservoir Dogs as well because my reasoning is it's more believable to me. I'm always a huge proponent of using regular-looking people in movies. And again, granted, Pulp Fiction is regular-looking people, but they're known enough that it doesn't take you out of it completely because they're great actors.
Have you ever seen Trees Lounge?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Steve Buscemi's director.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the only movie.
Such a great movie.
It's a really, really sad movie.
It's a really sad movie, especially the old guy at the bar.
Jesus.
One of my most favorite lines ever in any movie when Buscemi goes, "Hey, did you ever kill anybody?" And the guy goes, "What kind of an asshole question is that?"
It's a good movie. They shot it in Valley Stream, I think.
Yeah.
But so when it comes to that, how about this? Soundtrack wise.
Oh, that's a tough one. That one I'm giving. That's actually not that hard for me. I'm giving it to Pulp Fiction. That was a soundtrack
Yeah.
I bought and wore the tape out.
Yeah.
And I still listen. It got me into like surf music.
Yes.
It got me into like that genre. It got me into like Dick Dale and the Deltone. You know,
Right.
I love how music is used in Reservoir Dogs with the whole Stephen Wright voiceover, super sounds of the 70s. Great
Yes,
technique.
great
that they do,
technique,
but
yeah.
I love the soundtrack and the score in Pulp Fiction.
Reservoir
better.
Dogs way more obscure. Pulp
I mean,
Fiction,
the Stuck in the Middle with You is synonymous now with the ear cuttings. You know,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah. It also
can't
brought
not
that
think of
song
it.
back. Probably put that on the charts for a couple weeks. or
And
something.
I mean, Little Green Bag, it has a great soundtrack, but I'm giving it to Pulp Fiction because I that was like an album that I like in high school. If you had asked me like, what are your top 10 albums of all time? Pulp Fiction probably would have been in that list.
Do you know that when I was working, I guess I was working like Midtown, I walked down to an FYE when the 10th anniversary of Reservoir Dogs came out to buy the DVD
Yeah.
set and get Michael Madsen and Kirk Baltz, the guy who gets his ear cut off. They signed the DVDs.
Nash.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Nash, yeah. And he goes, your name's, remember when he talks to Tim Roth?
Yeah.
And he goes, I know you. You're a cop. He's like, your name's Jerry something. Whatever he says. So there we go. So I would say Reservoir Dogs for the cast. And you would say soundtrack, I'd probably say Pulp Fiction as well.
For me, that's a layup.
I'll tell you this much. This is what probably clinches it for me because we have to wrap up pretty soon anyway. And we could just probably keep on going for a while with this. I know.
These two forever.
It's insane.
Maybe we'll do a Patreon. We'll get
Maybe
a little deeper.
we'll do an extra episode for this. Yeah, that's actually a perfect idea. Ending scene.
I was just thinking standout scene.
Standout scene. But let's even do
Ending
it.
scene.
Match them up because they're not that different. But which one is better?
I think Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs. That's what I think.
It's got to be.
I think we
mean,
both think Reservoir Dogs is better.
the Mexican standoff and just the great Chris Penn. You know,
Let's make that the last clip and then we'll get out of here.
Don't you point that gun at my dad out of the freaking.
Don't you point that gun at my dad. He's like, he's going to decide
Out of the freaking.
out of the fucking blue. He's like, now why don't you
Mr.
tell me?
Blonde
Watch, hold on.
was gonna kill you, and then when we got back, he was gonna kill us, take the satchel of diamonds and scram. I'm right about that,
Scram.
right? That's correct. That's your story.
I swear on my mother's eternal soul is what happened.
This guy's just bleeding for 8 hours.
The man you just killed just got released from prison. He got caught at a company warehouse full of hot items. He could have fucking walked.
He didn't.
All he had to do was say my dad's name, but he didn't. He kept his fucking mouth shut.
He did his time like a man.
And he did his fucking time, and he did it like a man. He did 4 years for us. So, Mr. Orange, you're telling me that this very good friend of mine, who did 4 years for my father, who in 4 years never made a deal no matter what they dangled in front of him, you're telling me that now that this man is free, and we're making good on our commitment to him, he's just gonna decide out of the fucking blue to rip us off?
His face when he says this is
Maniacal.
crazy.
Why don't you tell me what really happened?
Why? It's just
What
gonna
the
be
hell for?
Yeah.
It'd just be more bullshit.
This man set us up.
Dad, I'm sorry.
Wasn't
but I don't know what the
100%.
hell's happened.
It's all right.
I didn't go with my gut. Should have my fucking head examined.
talking about?
That lump of shit's working with the LAPD.
I don't have the slightest fucking idea what you're talking about.
Joe, I don't know what you think you know, but you're wrong.
Like hell I am.
Joe, trust me on this. You've made a mistake. He's a good kid. I understand you're hot. You're super fucking pissed.
He's super fucking pissed. Super
You're
fucking pissed.
barking up the wrong tree. I know this man. He wouldn't do that.
You don't know, Jack.
And it's also,
shit.
it's like-
I do.
It is kind of
The
funny.
cocksucker tipped off the cops, and a Mr. Brown and Mr. Blue killed.
Mr. Blue is dead?
That is Dillinger.
That's a good line. That is Dillinger.
It's the only one I wasn't 100% on. I should have my fucking head examined going ahead when I wasn't 100%. That's your proof? You don't need proof when you have instinct. I ignored it before, but no more.
He points his gun at him.
Yep.
You lost your fucking mind.
He goes, man, Joe, you should let man you die
Making a
next.
terrible mistake. I'm not gonna let you make.
Come on, guys.
I repeat.
Nobody wants this. We're supposed to be fucking professionals.
Hey, look.
Leads to a great
Right
question.
on time.
Does
No.
Lot of jobs.
Buscemi get away?
No, he doesn't. You hear the
No
cops
need
get
for
him
this,
outside.
man.
Yeah, but does he
Just-
live? Because you kind
What
of
I
hear
does, yeah.
just
You hear
fades,
shots?
kind of.
And let's settle this with a fucking conversation.
Joe,
This is bad.
kill that man, you die next. Repeat. If you kill that man, you
All
die.
right, you can turn it off, Alex. That's what I was going to bring up. Does Steve Buscemi? That's a good question to ask the listeners. Does Steve Buscemi live? Does Mr. Pink live in Reservoir Dogs? I think
Some
it's
people
proven
say
he
I
doesn't.
don't know.
I mean, I think
he
it's
can
proven.
shoot his way out of it. It's not proven. I don't think. He definitely they have an interaction,
You
but
hear them yelling at him, but that's about it, right?
But he could have shot. He shot himself out of the robbery. That's how he's known for that. He shot himself out of the robbery.
So you're just not supposed to know. What do you guys think? Email us.
I've always wondered.
Defendyourmovie at gmail.com, at defendyourmovie. I think that scene, I think we kind of made up our minds. I think Reservoir
Yeah.
Dogs, I think I enjoy Reservoir Dogs better now. I think it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think we should re-examine it on the Patreon episode when we do it. This week, we're going to relaunch Patreon. It's patreon.com/ I think Defend Your Movie, right, Alex? Yeah. And sign up. We're going to change all the writing on it. It's going to be different rewards. We're going to put way more content on it. There's going to be videos.
Road stuff.
There's going to be, what?
Road stuff. We had an idea
Yes.
of being out on the road, talking to some other comics that we're working with about
Exactly. There's going to
some
be
of their movies. And
tons of mini episodes. So patreon.com/ Defend Your Movie. Sign up now. Sign up early. And we'll revisit this as far as content goes, and we'll talk about it. But let us know, and what we'll do as part of the reexamination, guys, write to us what you think about the two movies. Are we crazy for matching these up? Defendyourmovie at gmail.com. Let us know which one you like better. Did Mr. Pink get away, or do they arrest? Are they just arresting him outside while everything else is going on? Because I think for a while, there's people out there that say he got arrested, that he's alive, but he got arrested. I don't think there's shots. There's shots? They hear the cops shooting him?
It fades and the music comes up pretty quickly.
Yeah, so you're kind of half paying attention, and you can't really tell. It's kind of garbled. So let us know. We'll be back. We'll be back next week, and then it'll be relaunched next week as well. So just look out for that. Patreon.com/ DefendYourMovie. DefendYourMovie at gmail.com. At DefendYourMovie on Twitter. Tweet at us if you want. Follow us. And then tell your friends. Also, it's very important to rate and review on iTunes, because that helps the podcast a lot. That helps it with the algorithms. Andy, do you want to plug anything?
Yes, you can follow me at Andy Fiori, ANDYFIORI. February 15th, I'll be headlining Fairfield Comedy Club in Fairfield, Connecticut. You can always check out my other show if you're a SiriusXM subscriber. It is the Raw Report at 4 p.m. every Thursday. We go live. And really had some really cool people on lately. I had Andrea Savage from I'm Sorry, Jason Jones from The Daily Show. Haley Joel Osment was on, the kid from Sixth Sense, who was awesome. So those are all on demand if you haven't caught the live shows. But please listen in, and Sean's a frequent guest, and it's a fun show. So, and then, just check me out on social media at Andy Fiori and my tour dates, andyfiori.com.
I am at Shawnee Time on Instagram and Twitter, and we are at Showbiz Studios, at showbizstudios.com. They have an Instagram. They have a iTunes page, and they also have a YouTube page you can check out for videos and to download all the great podcasts that Showbiz Studios has to offer. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
There's a title you must